Hey everyone, so this will be a bit of a comparison here between the user interfaces on the Fitbit Versa 3 and then the Sense 2. And I do actually like the Versa 3's user interface better than the Sense 2's. So the Versa 3 does have a bit of a bigger bezel around the screen than the new Sense 2 does. Not really noticeable, even when they're next to each other, not really noticeable. Then I also believe this is a slightly bit bigger because of that than this one. Again, not really noticeable, but it is something to note. These do have buttons, so to speak. This is a haptic feedback button on the Versa 3 versus physical buttons on the Sense 2. The back here, actually, you guys can hopefully see this. This is a bit different looking than here. This is because this now can track your stress all day long. The Versa 3, well, it doesn't have that at all. The Sense 1 would, but you could only do it, you'd have to start it and sit there for a moment for it to work, where on the new Sense 2 it works all day long if you have it turned on. Strap wise, they actually use the same straps, very nice and easy, just a little button there, and then pop it back in. It just pops back. Of course, I say it's easy, now it's not cooperating with me. Alright, let's retry that. It just pops in. There you go. I mean, it look way worse than it is. It just pops in, to make sure you hear it snap. Like that, and then tug on it. Again, just a little button there. Same thing with the Versa 3 here. Button. And then, again, make sure it snaps in. And they do use the same size strap, so if you have an old Versa 3 or Sense 1 and you want to go to a new Versa 4 or Sense 2, your old straps will fit in to the new one, which is really cool. Alright, so getting into the actual interface here. So on the Versa 3, we swipe like that, it'll get you to your settings, whereas on the new Sense, you actually swipe down to get to these settings here. You have your Do Not Disturb, your sleep or your night mode, your brightness, your always on display, which I have mine turned on for both of these, your raise to wake, and then your volume. And it is basically all the same thing. Do Not Disturb, sleep. This actually has your more settings here. Your always on display, your raise to wake, or hitting the button only, then your brightness. One quick thing I want to mention too, and you all can correct me if maybe this is in the settings, I could not find it, but with the Versa 3 and the Sense 1, your screen is on, you cover it up, it turns your screen off. Again, it's on always on display, so I'm not going to turn off all the way. But with the new one, it's on, you cover it up, it doesn't do that. Which is just really, really weird to me. You flick it away, it should turn off. But it does not have the covering up screen. Even the Charge 5 has that. It's just a weird thing they got rid of for some reason. Again, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Anyway, moving on here. Swipe downward with the Versa 3, you get your notifications. And too, I do want to mention this is my mom's Versa 3, so it's like the notifications, there are none, because again, it's my mom's, so we're not near her phone, and that's also why it's pink. Not that there's anything wrong with pink, but yeah. Then swipe upwards, then we'll get into pretty much our daily activities here. So we have like your core stats, so you have your steps, floors, distance, calories burned, after zone minutes, heart rate, hourly activity. Both these will, if you turn that on, it'll buzz at you if you're not moving enough. It wants 250 steps per hour. Your exercise, food, sleep, your weather, relax, Fitbit, logging. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. What's really nice about this Versa 3, again, it's something I like more than on the new Sense. So say I hit sleep again. This is my mom's. She did not use it last night to bed, but you can still see here that So it'll tell you how long you slept for. And then what's really nice about this, and it'll also give you a score. But what I like about this, and I'll show this on the Sense 2 in a second here, but it gives you your awake, REM, light, and deep, all on the watch, which is pretty common these days. Whereas on the Sense 2, I actually did wear this to bed last night. It gives you how long you slept for. You tap into it. All it does is bring you to your today's stats, like we were just on the Versa 3. That's it. And then tells you your score. There's no going into it further. You have to go onto the app in order to see all your different stages. Again, why they took that away, I do not know. It's really goofy. Again, why I like the Versa 3's interface better than the new Sense. And before I continue here, I should say, in order to get to what we're just on the Versa 3, which is again swiping upward to see your today's stuff. In order to do that on here, you just swipe over to your today's activities. You click on any of them, and then it will bring you to that. Again, steps, distance, floors, calories burned, active zone minutes, heart rate, resting heart rate actually too, which is really cool. Your readiness, if you have that, which I believe is part of premium, and you have to wear for like a whole bunch of days before it actually works, days and nights. Exercise, hourly activity, your sleep, which again you cannot do anything more with. Again, this has all day stress tracking. Then mindfulness you have on there. You can add in more stuff if you want to. I don't think I actually can. Then you can swipe away like that, it'll hide it, and then swiping this way will bring you out. But again, I just want to show this off. Again, really don't know why they did it like this on the Sense 2. So on here again, the Versa 3 versus Sense 2. If I click on anything, it doesn't do it. It tells me absolutely nothing. That goes for all those apps. Click on it on the Versa 3 here, and it goes into further details. Like a lot more detail. Again, why they took that away on the Sense 2 is kind of mind-boggling to me. New, updated watch, less features on it, on the watch itself. Again, you can see all that on the app on your phone, but to me it kind of takes away the point of a watch that has all these cool features on it. One more thing I want to show off here, hopefully y'all can see this through the camera, is this thing is somewhat slow. Sometimes it's slower than other times, but there's just a little bit of a chunkiness to it, or clunkiness to it. Not chunkiness, of course, got email in the way, but it's just not the smoothest. Whereas again, on here, it's just a lot smoother. It's weird. It's like they actually took a step back when they came out with this new watch. This is just smoother and gives you a lot more information. Alright, and then going back into here, so like before I showed, swiping down gives you to all the information we're just talking about on the new Sense 2. It gives you your notifications. Notifications are really nice on here. So like we'll open up this, and it tells you the email or whatever you have. Then you can reply to text and stuff if you want to, through either quick text or through you can talk to your watch. It's just really nice. And it does pop up and then it opens up right away for you. Which is really cool. One thing I do like about this watch. Then we'll swipe over to this way. So again, I actually like this better on here. So this is getting to our apps. So it just shows you all of your different apps. And again, going into any of these, like today, will of course bring you to whatever you're clicking on. And hitting the haptic feedback brings you back home. Otherwise, if you're in the app, swiping will bring you back to where you were. Just really cool. Whereas on the Sense 2, you swipe either way. Again, there's a little bit more of slowness than there is on the Versa 3. It's just super weird. But that gives you to your different apps. So we have today's activities, your heart rate, your sleep, body's response. And you can change up what you see through these different apps, what different apps you have on here. So I got a timer, I have the weather. Weather's actually really cool, because it will tell you too like what it is outside, intermittent clouds. Then exercise, and this can hold on to a whole bunch of different exercises. So click into that, and then you do other, and then there's a crazy amount. Again, there is a little bit of a slowness to it though. Looking at exercise on here, again, there's a whole bunch of different ones. Alright, then we'll talk about this button here. So it'll do different things depending on what you have it set up for. But if you long click, we have this, my mom has it set up to be on the Spotify. Click it again, it'll go back home. Or if you just do, we're going to turn on. I just do a single click here. You can just feel the haptic feedback, and that's about it. On the new Sense, you click it once. You can bring up your different quick menus here, different apps. Click and hold, it'll bring up whatever you have it set to, which I have it set to wallet, just what it came with. I do not actually have the wallet set up yet though. Alright, then just a couple more things here. So like I said in the beginning, I do have always on display on. What that just means, for those that do not know, is it does this when you're not looking at it, I guess, directly. So we turn it, it'll turn on to the main display. Once it turns off here in a couple seconds, it'll do that, which is nice because with the always on display turned off, it just turns black. So we'll turn that off here. We'll go ahead and let that turn off in a few seconds here. And now you see it's just a black screen compared to the always on display, which shows you the time at least. Turn it on, it shows you everything. Turn it off there, and then always on display, which I really like. This will kill your battery though, so instead of getting maybe 5 or 6 days, you might want to get 2 or 3 days out of it. Alright, then we're just looking at the settings part real fast here again. I just want to show you guys this. So this is nice and smooth for the most part. Let's see, go back into settings because it won't turn itself off there. You guys can hopefully see that it's just a lot more clunky. It's just not as smooth. It's just very weird for being the newer watch. Yeah, so there you go. The differences in user interfaces here between the Versa 3 / you could also say the Sense 1 versus the Sense 2 / Versa 4. They are basically the same, except for the Sense on both generations have a few more things added to them. Mainly sensors, mainly stress tracking. Again, I actually like the Versa 3 / Sense 1's interface better than the new one. It's like they took stuff away from it, like I showed you guys, and it's just a little bit slower. Then one more thing I do want to mention here is, probably won't be able to show it off here, but it's very weird, is with the Sense 2 that I'm having a weird issue with, again, goes with the slowness, is that even with the always on display, this happens. So you'll have the time here, and so I waited about 2 minutes here. So you see the always on display is correct. Now watch what happens to the time. See how it first shows 14 and then 16. This just shows straight up what time it is. It's the weirdest thing. So the always on display will tell you, the off screen like this will tell you the correct time. You'll turn it on. If some time has passed, it will show you the incorrect time for a second or two. And it's even worse. So say right now it's 10:16. I do not look at it for an hour. So now it's 11:16. You'll turn it on. It will tell you 10:16 for a second or two. Then it'll tell you 11:16. Again, old one does not do that. And it's the same thing with the always on display turned off. It's just super slow and laggy. And sorry, I hit my camera there. It's just super weirdly slow. So again, 16, 17. The more time that passes by between you looking at the actual time, the actual main face, the worse it is. It might take 2 seconds before it tells you the correct time. And why I find it really distraughting is because you'll look at your watch real fast, right? It'll turn on, you'll look away from it. You'll see it'll say like 10:17. In your quick second of looking, and it'll actually be like 10:30. Because again, it'll take a second or two, and by the time it changes to the correct time, you're already looking away from the watch, and you now think it's a wrong time. It's just very weird. Yeah. And with that note, thank you all for watching. Let me know if yours is, you don't like yours, or you do like yours, or if you prefer the old one or the new one, what have you. Thank you all for watching. As always, I really do appreciate you. Hope you have a good one. See you next time. Goodbye.